I have always been a creature of habit. A few observations ever elude my mind. That's why I can recall any event down to the smallest insignificant details. But recently, my memories haven't matched up with reality. On any given weekday, I will return from work. My keys will be my left inner coat pocket. I'll open the door, retrieve the mail from the assortment of mailboxes on the left side of the entrance. My apartment number is 7th, just like the mailbox. Following this, I was travel up the stairs to the first floor. 11 steps. I always start with my left and ends with my left. At least I thought so, because a few days ago, I tripped, not because I am clumsy, but because on that day, I ended the staircase with my right foot. Of course, I doubted myself, but it was enough to retake the amount of steps in the staircase, and sure enough, one was missing at this point. I could have talked to my neighbors, but they weren't the detail-oriented kind. So, I let it slide. It was a minor change, one I quickly adapted to, at least, until I lost my wristwatch. The prior night, I put it on my nightstand, and the following morning, it was simply gone. It wasn't impossible that I misplaced it, but I had a firm memory of placing it on the nightstand. Everything escalated today. I woke up, took a shower, shaved, brushed my teeth, cut my nails, on all 9 fingers. 9 fingers? One of them had disappeared with no trace, just held his skin covering the bearing knuckle. Not knowing who to call, I turned to my mother. My voice trembled as I explained what had happened. She went quiet for a few seconds before responding with a worry in her words. She told me I was born with only 9 fingers. I hung up. It was dark. I sat down trying to remember how I had simply forgotten. Was there something wrong with my mind? Only after minutes did I realize I was sitting in the dark. But it was the daytime. My apartment didn't have any windows anymore. Panic set in. This wasn't in my head. They don't even make windowless apartment. I tried to escape, but there was no door to flee through. I was trapped in a nicely decorated black box that was my apartment. I called the police. They came. My address didn't exist. After they hung up, I would have called someone if my cell phone wasn't already gone. My computer is all that exists, and I am trying to write the story with the stump that were once my hand only. 1 middle finger left. A perfect FU to myself. I'll have to post while my computer still exists. But think about this. Have you lost anything recently? Such as your favorite mark, maybe a blue pen? Something that just disappeared without a trace? That's how it started for me too. Another bouquet of flowers showed up today. That's the 3rd this week. They are beautiful flowers, they really are. Roses and lilies, bursts of color and baby's breath. Lovely arrangement that would make anyone happy to receive. Yet every time they arrive, I can't help but feel a stab of fear. I guess I should explain. This all started back in college, when I started dating this guy. We will call him Mike. He was a nice enough guy. We just weren't really compatible. I don't know, it didn't work out, for the same reason a lot of things in college don't work out. I never would have given it a second thought, or even really remember him at all, if it weren't for the flowers. The first bouquet showed up the week after our last date. After I texted him to say, "This isn't working out." They were vibrant blue chrysanthemums and white roses, and they came with no note or explanations. They merely appeared on the welcome mat in front of my apartment door. I waited for him to try and follow up, to get back together with me, but he never did. I even texted him to thank him for the flowers, and he insisted he didn't send them. But of course, he would say that. But then in a few weeks, another bouquet arrived, and then another. and that week, and the week after. And pretty soon, the flowers were coming every week. When I moved out of my apartment, they were waiting for me at my new address. When I got a job in a different state, they arrived at my workplace place, fiercely on my desk. I called and texted Mike, trying to get him to stop, but I kept getting a message failed or this number has been disconnected. I guess he changed his number. Maybe he didn't want me calling to harass him. The flowers kept coming and I started to get creeped out. How did he know where I lived? How did he keep finding me? I changed my phone number. I moved. I became meticulous about hiding my identity online. I called the florist and begged him to put me on a no-deliver list. I even called the police and tried to file a report that I was being stalked. Let me tell you, trying to get the police to do something about a guy delivering you flowers, not an easy task. But nothing I did could keep the flowers from coming. They just kept showing up every week, and then twice a week for nearly 3 years now. No matter where I live or where I work, somehow the flowers just keep coming. Which brings us to today and the newest bouquet. Usually when I get them, I'm exasperated, or a little uneasy, or just plain mad. But lately, I have been getting more and more scared, because I was on Facebook the other day, browsing through my friends of friends and old classmates, snooping around the way you do when you have a couple of drinks and a free evening, and I found Mike's Facebook page. It was covered in messages of mourning and memorial, because Mike has been dead for nearly 3 years. It all started on the 14th night of March, the night of my parents' 20th wedding anniversary. It was wonderful sunny, if my memory serves me correctly. Surprisingly warm, but before the beginning of spring. The beautiful weather was perfect for the atmosphere of the day. Being married for 20 years is obviously a monumental occasion. So my parents had booked a table at a favorite Italian restaurant. Of course, this was a formal occasion. So I had my best suit on. It was 5:30 p.m. and I was just straightening my tie when my phone went off. I had received a message. That's strange, I thought. That never happens. I checked the message. It was from my mom. It was quite a jumble of numbers and letters, and through the gibberish too, I could make out one legible phrase. Please, help, me. It should go without saying that it worried me greatly. So I immediately replied, "Are you okay?" Just as instantly, I got another text which read, "Oops, pocket text." I sighed with all the relief I had and continued to prepare myself. Few minutes later, I received yet another message, this time from my dad. I checked the text, and once again, it was a massive mixture of numbers and letters with the phrase, "Please help me," concealed within creepy. Though this was my dad, he was always a joker, so I presume that he was just joking around. Until I was seeing another text saying, "Oops, pocket text." Now, this sparked panic, pure unmistakable panic, exactly half a minute past. When I received the exact same 2 messages from my sister, this couldn't be coincidental, it just couldn't. In a state of sheer anxiety, I started to run to the restaurant. I made it about a quarter of the way before I stopped by a police officer. "Main road is closed," he said. Huge car crash. This was the exact moment I realized what had happened. I demanded to see the wreckage, a request which I was surprised was allowed. When I got there, it wasn't the remnants of the car that caught my eye, nor the flames bellowing from the destroyed vehicles. No. I was horrified to see the lifeless corpses of my mother, father, and sister. I asked for the estimated time of the death. All 3 of them were killed instantly by the collision at 5:32 p.m., a minute before their very first text.